Toronto is strongly considering making a change to the municipal lane transfer tax in the city, and it could be seen to help affordability. This was a headline in a recent article. These are not my words, but we will see if this statement is true. Alright, so if you've bought a home in Toronto, whether we're talking about Scarborough, downtown Toronto, Etobicoke, or any other place that's actually deemed as the city of Toronto from a technical standpoint, then you'll know that the land transfer tax here is much higher than other parts of the Greater Toronto Area like York Region, Halton, and Durham. And if you haven't bought a property here, watch the whole entire video because you may learn something today. Before diving into this subject, TREB, which is the Toronto Real Estate Board, they disagree with the imposed taxes. It directly impacts housing affordability and home buyers at the same time. This is a little bit of a blurb on their reasoning in the form of a letter to the City of Toronto, but down here they outlined 2 key points which I wanted to highlight. Point number 1, avoid any increases to the municipal lane transfer tax. And point number 2, adjust the municipal lane transfer tax first-time buyer rebate and rate thresholds for inflation since its introduction in 2008. We've got a lot to cover here. Long story short, Toronto basically has 2 lane transfer taxes, which can also be referred to as LTT. Lane transfer tax is a closing cost that you have to budget for when buying a property, so make sure that your realtor discusses this with you. If you're a first-time home buyer as well, you can also get a rebate for a portion of this tax, so make sure to tick that box when you are closing on your first property. But the City of Toronto, they have another one, which is the MLTT. I've been saying it a lot in this video already, and it stands for the Municipal Lane Transfer Tax, which is essentially just that first lane transfer tax, but multiplied by 2. The nuts and bolts of this is that the tax is calculated by using a marginal tax rate system, which is based on the purchase price of the home. Also included in the breakdown is liabilities, which could be assumed, soft costs, costs of upgrades, and things of this nature. But the one thing you have to know is that if you're buying outside of Toronto, then the amount that you pay is cut in half and you'll be able to save a lot of money. For a quick example to see how much you can really save, let's say that you bought a property for $850,000 in Toronto. The lane transfer tax will come out to be around $26,950 that you have to come up with at closing. If you bought this same property now outside of the City of Toronto, then that total would decrease to around $13,500. The first-time home buyer rebate in the Toronto example would come out to be $8,500 that you would save and not have to pay on closing. And if you were to outside the City of Toronto, then the first-time home buyer rebate would come out to be $4,000 of savings. While savings of any kind are always great, the rebate value of this land transfer tax to first-time homebuyers in the market today is essentially meaningless, and let me explain. The average price of a property in 2008 when this tax was introduced was about $400,000 on average, and this tax was reflective of the prices at that time, obviously. Last year, in 2022, the average price of all home types combined for the entire year came in at just below $1.2 million. So homes are almost 3 times more expensive in today's market, and the rebates have stayed the exact same. What's even crazier is that when this tax was first implemented, first-time homebuyers could rebate up to $400,000 of the purchase price, which means that they were basically exempt from having to pay any municipal land transfer tax at all, which would put us on par with other regions of the GTA like Durham, Halton, York, and that ones that I explained at the beginning of this video. So the fact that we have the same exact guidelines in place today is super crazy to think about. Getting to affordability, will a change to the municipal land transfer tax actually spur more affordability in the City of Toronto? The city was thinking that they'd impose a 1% increase to homes valued over $2 million, or that luxury market. But looking back at 2022, we had average price of detached properties come in around $1.8 million, right? I know that we're a ways away from achieving those numbers again, but the natural progression for homeowners is to move up the property ladder. Immigration to Canada is insane. It was in 2022, and it is going to be especially in the years to come, which could cause prices years down the road, 5 or 10 years, to increase again, right? That will directly impact owners and people in the more expensive freehold properties. If we get back to those prices again in the future, you'll see more and more homes being valued at $2 million plus, and then these people will all be in this new tax bracket. But this new bracket could actually decrease supply in my opinion, since many people won't want to move and have to pay more in tax. And then we're back at square one with having supply issues in our real estate market. That's all I got for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and got some insight as to what may be coming to the Toronto real estate market in the near future. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If you like the video, throw it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, remember to trust the process and fall in love with your journey.